Okay, I'm back in GPL, and for good reason. I know the chart doesn't look all too great, but for my penny stock warfare strategy, it's perfect. Silver took a huge hit the other day, and I jumped in on Friday, as you know, picked up 7,500 shares here at 3:30 on the 6th. Short-term goal 10% as always. A lot of people ask me, what is my goal? What am I looking for? I'm always looking for 10%, but I'll take 3%, 5%, 7%. It doesn't matter to me. I just don't want to take a loss. Will I let it ride? Usually not. I found that I end up losing more often than not when I try for more than 10%. In this case, it's a perfect example. The stock moves about 10% from my entry to a high of 363 on this day, which was Tuesday, yesterday. And had I held, I would have turned over all my profits. So, understanding where resistance is, which was right here, and selling before that resistance and locking in a couple of $1,000, in 3 days' time is good enough. I used to teach and make $150 a day. So, a couple $1,000s across 3 days is big money to me. And sometimes I lose sight of that, but I don't want to. So I'm going to stick with my penny stock warfare strategy. It's what it's gotten me here. It's what I've built this successful newsletter around, and it's what I'll continue to focus on. Warfare, guerrilla warfare. Get in, get out, take money, and then do it again. And this makes, the perfect example because, the alert went out here at 3:30. 3 days later, we're up 8.5%. I take profits, plenty of time for everybody else to make their own decision and take profits if they want. Doesn't matter if you put, $5,000 into a stock or $50,000 into the stock. Profit is profit. The the point is winning. If you can win consistently, then you should be able to do the same thing with $500 or $50,000. But the idea is developing a strategy that works and wins. You have to be able to reproduce wins over and over and over to offset, when you guess wrong. You have to bear with me here. My allergies are going. So, the penny stock warfare strategy at play right there is perfect. Doesn't look like anything much, but it actually equated to over $2,000 in profits to me. The untrained eye would look at that and say big deal. But we bought at support and we sold at resistance. It dips and I bought back. Why did I buy back? Because I identified 320 as good support. You can see the price action from the candles. Close, low of the day, closes above it here, touches down and closes above it here. And, back in through here, you can see that it had a 4-day shelf in the 320 range. So 320, identified that as support, put my order in at 322, figuring other people would probably gobble up shares there as well. I wanted to make sure I got filled. I actually touched 321 for a short period of time. You can see right in through there up top it says 321. That was the low of the day. And moved up nicely into the close as the market kind of recovered. I think silver's going to go back up. I think it's a safe trade over the next couple of days. Had I guessed wrong and it broke through 320, I would have sold immediately, because 320 was the catalyst. Okay, silver going up, that's what's going to drive it, but 320 was the catalyst. The catalyst was people would be buying at support. Understanding that means that I can jump in, and if it rebounds, I'll have, a safety net below me, which is that support. People think 320 is support on this one, and when it moves back up off of that and you add there, now you have a little cushion. So I have a 10-cent cushion into the close. I actually averaged up too, so I think I'm at 325 on this one now because I bought another, or even 327. I bought another 7,000 shares into the close. So I'm not 100% sure what my average is, but it's right around 325 now, I'm guessing. So let's look at the 1-minute chart. Again, it's important you understand these things. I want my members to be able to identify these trades on their own. Stock pulls all the way back to support right here. I call this drifting selling. And this is where I sent out the alert. So it ended up being just off the low of the day. And it shoots up on some buying, goes sideways, pulls back down, and then the market starts to recover, and so does GPL. And into the close, I think we hit a high of 333 before pulling back and closing at 330. I bought another 7,000 shares in through here. I like to add into strength. You'll see me do that a lot. I did it before LLCM ran the first time. I did it, on our other plays that we've made today, TBBC. I averaged up on that. If I see strength, if I think I've picked the right entry, then I like to go big to maximize the profits. When I realize that I made a mistake or it doesn't go in my direction, that's when I downsize. And I think that's a good way to trade. So that's it on GPL, 10%, my goal. So I'd be happy to get something in and around 340 on this one. We'll see how it plays out tomorrow. Hopefully silver will bounce and GPL will also keep this bullish buying coming into the stock, and we'll trade it as is. But you can see how it hits down here and the rush of volume that comes in, and then it hits down here again and the rush of volume that comes in. So people look to buy off of support, and then eventually those buyers outweigh the sellers and the stock moves back up. So that's GPL. Worked for us once, Friday into Tuesday. I'm hoping that a Wednesday into Friday swing brings us back into the 340 to 360 range. All right, everybody, have a great evening.